And Abhilash Tomy has created history. In fact, the first Indian to complete the world's toughest endurance race, the Golden Globe race. Ex-Navy commander has circumnavigated the globe in a tiny sailboat, which was without any sort of assistance. He stayed at sea for 236 days now. To get more on this, we have my colleague Vishnu Som joining us. Vishnu, 5 years ago, after he suffered a life-threatening, potentially paralyzing accident, that same event in the same Golden Globe race, he manages to complete it, creating history for all Indians here.
You're absolutely correct, Divya. This is the most incredible triumph of the body and of the mind. Abhilash Tomy, ex-Navy commander, has circumnavigated the globe in a tiny sailboat after being out alone in the high seas for 236 days, non-stop and unassisted. 5 years ago, he lay on another boat in the same race, virtually paralyzed after running into a massive storm. There was a huge international effort to save him. It's a miracle that he was saved. He had titanium shafts put into his spinal cord. 5 vertebrae were reduced to 1. He was unable to walk and had to relearn how to walk. And now he's crossed the finishing line. There were 16 skippers who chose to participate in this race. Only 2 of them have finished. The first one to finish was yesterday. Kirsten Neuschafer of South Africa, who's become the first woman to actually circumnavigate the earth and win this race. And Abhilash Tomy is the only other person to finish. Winning this race is one thing, it's great, but just completing it is an incredible victory itself. About a week back, Abhilash was in top position and he was likely to win the race. But he ran into a massive storm in the Atlantic and the race organizers called him and said, "You need to detour urgently because this can get really bad." As a result of making that course correction, he lost valuable time and distance. But the fact of the matter is, in the context of a race around the world, to finish just a day after the person who's finished is first is a remarkable achievement by itself. So rest assured, there'll be a lot of celebrations. It's a true triumph of grit and personal determination.
Vishnu, if you could just describe the boat. You said he was unassisted. He did this all by himself. Just describe the kind of boat that's used in this race.
35-foot sailboat, and he had no electronic aids. All that he did have was an old world sextant and a barometer to guide him around the world. The reason is because the Golden Globe race is trying to recreate or replicate conditions of sailing as they existed in the 1960s. The conditions for this race and to finish it are so extreme that some would go to the extent of calling it perhaps a touch sadistic. And many boats were unable to finish. He had so many problems. For example, there was a part of his boat that needed to be fixed out in the ocean. He had to break the door of his tiny toilet, fashion the wood out of it, and put it and attach it to the back of his boat to have this vane actually keep operating. He's run into lots of technical problems and electric problems on his boat. He's got a tiny solar charger to charge some basic equipment which he needs in order to survive. And he ran into a lot of problems with that, somehow managed to make it work, ran into all sorts of problems. Last week, his mainsail tore. He stitched up his sail. There was a line from the mast which broke. He took out one of the other lines on the ship, attached it over there, and right now he's entered Les Sables-d'Olonne, which is the French port, which is the finishing line. A year back, he had started the race from here as well.
Right.